Hey, what's up? Today, I want to give you a review of the top 6 leadership books that have personally helped me out on my journey. These books are going to be given to you in no particular order, but they're books that definitely made an incredible impact on my life. And I think if you're an avid reader or you're in any leadership space right now, you need to go out and get these books. At least pick up one of these books, like whichever one you're most drawn to as I talk about them. The first book is this book called Living the Life You Were Meant to Live. Now, wouldn't that be great? You were actually created by God and destined for a specific purpose. And in this book is one of my favorite analogies that I use all of the time. It says that each of us were given a thumbprint. And that thumbprint is because we're supposed to leave an imprint on the world that's as unique as us. As every single snowflake is different, every single person is different. And so this book is really, really practical. It has tons of different charts throughout the book that actually help you figure out what is your life calling and mission. What are your core values that you're supposed to live by? What are you doing right now that you don't need to be doing because it's taking away from the life that you were meant to live? This is from Tom Patterson. He actually signed the front of it for me. So this book's from Tom Patterson, Living the Life You Were Meant to Live. You need to go pick it up today, right now. Like you go to Amazon or wherever books are sold and pick it up today. The second book, it is a book called The One Thing. Now, what I love about this book, I actually was a part of what's called a mastermind. It was called a CEO mastermind group. And it was just a group of entrepreneurs and CEOs and organizational leaders from around the area, from around the region in which I live in. And once a week for about 8 weeks, we got together and we went through different sections of this book. And the challenge of this book, it was written by this guy named Gary Keller, who he is Keller Williams Realty. He's the guy who started that and has grown into a multi-billion-dollar business. And he goes in just detail of how when he got focused on one thing that he's supposed to be doing and doing it well, then he had extraordinary results. And so this book challenges you to focus on what is that one thing that you need to be applying your energy to. And when you apply your energy to that one thing, you're going to have massive results. And so it helps you get focused. Someone like me, I suffer from lack of being able to pay attention for very long. I like to have lots of things going on. And so this book really helps you get focused on the one thing that you need to be focused on in a given season. So go pick it up. Go pick it up. The next book, it is a book called David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell. And it uses all kinds of data and stats. And so if you're into that kind of thing, like you want not just theoretical knowledge, but you actually want to see proven results, then you need to pick up this book. It's a book for underdogs and misfits. It says underdogs, misfits, and the art of battling giants. And it really encourages you that even if you feel like you're a David, that you have everything that you need to compete at the highest levels. And so you can do it. You can compete. You might not feel like you can. You might think other people are further along than you. You might think other people have the upper hand, but in the same way that David beat Goliath, if you feel like an underdog or a misfit, or you just need a little pep in your step, you need to pick this book up. Tens of millions of books have been sold by Malcolm Gladwell. This was a New York Times bestseller. One of the best books really on leadership of all time. I love this book. It's called After 50 Years of Ministry. It was written by a guy named Bob Russell. Bob Russell was the pastor of a church called Southeast Christian Church, which grew to be one of the most influential and one of the largest churches ever in the United States history, and certainly at his time. It has over 30,000 members at Southeast Christian Church. And he just goes through and he talks about 7 things that he would have done differently and 7 things he would change. And one of the things that he said in here is that if he would go back and he would do ministry more, he would be more generous, that he would tip more, and that he would give more, and that for him that needed to be a higher value. And that really reflected in my heart as I read it. I have a core value of being irrationally generous. Like I desire to just, be unrelenting with generosity towards other people. And I try to make it a hallmark of how I live and how I am there for the people. So it was encouraging to read that after all of these years of incredible ministry, that he would have been more generous. And so there's so many valuable lessons, even if you're not leading in a ministry setting. 7 things you do different, 7 things you do the same after leading an incredible church for 50 years. So you need to go pick this up, even if you're not in the church setting. The next book, it's a book called Success for Dummies. Success for Dummies. You're like, am I a dummy? I don't think you're a dummy, but the guy who wrote this is certainly one of the smartest leadership experts of all time. His name's Zig Ziglar. And what I love about this book, it's not a book that you feel like you have to sit there and read through every single chapter. You can just open it up to a chapter, and there's certainly some very strong nuggets. They call it pearls of wisdom throughout this book. There's some strong nuggets of idea generation that takes place. And so it says, not getting enough sleep causes you to lose mental sharpness, and creativity becomes more likely to make mistakes in judgment. So it's saying, if you want to be successful, make sure you're having those proper rhythms in your life. Here's some pearl of wisdoms. I have vision in my life, which means I can not only see with my eyes, but also with my heart. It's teaching you, make sure you have a full perspective of what you're going through. One of the things that I love about this book is that it is an encourager to help you. It gives you really practical steps on how to be a great leader. Success for Dummies. It's wise, witty, and earnest, according to the Orlando Sentinel. So you need to pick this book up. And then finally, this is a great book. It is called Listening, the Forgotten Skill. It's a self-teaching guide. There's over 2 million in print. Now, whenever I was getting my college degree, this was actually one of the required textbooks that we had. So this was a textbook from a college class that I had, but I absolutely love it because it teaches you how to be a better listener. And it teaches you actually little tricks that it takes for you to be more tuned into conversations that you need to be tuned into. And it actually helps in these conversations, in this interpersonal communication. The other people share more of what they have going on in their heart and what they have going on in their life. And if you want to be a great leader, you got to learn how to listen well. And so I'm still learning how to do that. I'm not the best at it, but I'm grateful that I have this tool and other guides to help me along the way. But I think this is a must-have. It's a must-have if you are a leader today. And so those are the 6 books that I would go with. If I were you, if you just said, what are the 6 books right now? I'm a brand new leader. What do I need to get started with? I would go get these 6 books, and I would chase after the nuggets of wisdom or the pearls of wisdom that are in there for you. And if you have one that I missed, go ahead and put it in the comments. Let me know which leadership book you would want to have. And as always, thank you for watching. It's been another Reviews by Tyler. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit subscribe.
Drop the beat.